You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Infinite diversity.
Live long and prosper, and welcome to Infinite Diversity, a Star Trek Universe podcast here on the BQN Podcast Collective. I'm your host for today, Thad, and joining me is my co-host, Chrissie. How are you today?
I have to be up on the bridge, and then I have to go fix something in engineering, and then Uhura is calling me, and the captain's calling me, and he didn't put a damn pin on his chair, so if he had just done that, I could have typed it in, and I wouldn't need his fingerprint. And I'm really, really, really freaking out right now. How are you, Thad?
I have 4 fuzzy fingers, and the trackpad of my computer isn't responding to them.
Yeah, it's been going around.
Also joining us today is Abby Sommer from the First Flight podcast. Abby, thank you for joining us.
As always, thank you for having me. I am very much looking forward to talking about this episode with the two of you, and my face already hurts from smiling, so this is going to be a good time. And you know, if my arm happens to pop off, my daughter just got a sewing machine for her birthday, so I'm sure she could just sew me up with yarn or something, and we'll be all good to go.
There you go.
She could put yarn in the sewing machine? That's an impressive sewing machine.
Okay, she's got thread in that, but still.
I mean, I'm sure sewing machines that can sew with yarn exist, but
embroidery machines exist, and they sew with like the thicker thread on the backing.
Yeah,
my mom has an industrial machine that has fixed like tents and like carrying chair bags and stuff for us. So
cool,
nice. Yeah, mine does like 4,000 different kinds of stitches, but they're all with regular thread.
Then you just got to get really fancy thread, right?
And I've only ever used like 3 of them. But anyway.
Yeah.
Before we jump into our topic for the day, we'd like to take a moment to thank our Patreon patrons who make our show possible, particularly associate producers Carl Wonders and Christina De Clerck-Szilagyi. Listeners, you can hear your name listed as one of our associate producers for a monthly subscription of just $10, and your subscription of any amount at patreon.com/BQN keeps all of the shows on the network ad-free. All right. Do we have any Star Trek news?
I happened to see that William Shatner and his daughter are on the cover of People magazine this week.
I saw that at the store today.
Yeah,
was that because of the cancer story?
Mm-hmm. And I didn't have a chance to look at it, but I was like, oh, look, there's Shatner smiling at me from over there as I check out.
They even got Shatner to smile in a photo. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Maybe they gave him sushi. The last time I saw him in person, he was so excited about the sushi he was eating, he couldn't stop smiling. He was eating it on stage during a panel because it had come late. So
that sounds like Shatner.
It was awesome. It was awesome. He kept interrupting whatever he was talking about to talk about how good the sushi was. So,
I mean, to be fair, he interrupts whatever he's talking about to talk about something else all the time. A Shatner Q&A is a thing to behold.
And no two are the same.
No.
Ever.
I want to say we found out there's going to be a Starfleet Academy panel at NYCC, which makes sense, but there wasn't one at San Diego, so it's good to hear that there is going to be one at New York.
Well, I hope that stops some of the fears people had that we weren't going to see too, that it was going to be like Prodigy thrown out there to where I'm like, no, they're going to show us too.
No,
it's just, they're not going to make any more.
If they were planning to do that, we would have known about that already.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, what I'm really hoping for is that at that New York Comic-Con panel is we find out that they are going to make a physical release of it, because there's been no news on that whatsoever. Yeah. And this would be the first Star Trek show that does not get a physical release if it doesn't.
I wonder if they're just waiting to do both seasons together. That would make
Maybe.
sense. Because if you know that it's just going to be that and it's already said and done,
Yeah, maybe.
they know fans are going to wait to buy the box set. Like I bought the first season of Strange New Worlds, and by the time the second one came out, we already knew it was over after 5, or so then I was like, all right, I'll just wait till the box set comes out. The same thing
I've been
Lower
getting
Decks.
the 4K steelbooks of Strange New Worlds because they look really cool.
That's what I got for the first season, and they do look cool, but
There are monetary constraints at times.
yeah.
I liked in season 2 the steelbook has Pike on the cover, but it comes with magnets that are exactly the same size as the case, so you can make any of the characters the cover, which I think is really cool.
That's awesome.
That's a good idea.
That is.
See, why don't these people do the marketing for all the products of Star Trek? Because it seems like they would have a good idea for some things that all of us would spend money on.
Mm-hmm. Like plushes from this week's episode.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I hope we get something. They are going to do an event for Star Trek Day, especially because it's the 60th anniversary. I hope we get something that they tell us something is happening.
The store has been doing a week-long special sale, and every day there has been something that was the Starship is landing or the Enterprise is landing. And I'm just like, you guys cannot let that go, can you? Or they're just trying to get rid of the merch.
Today it was a sale on blankets, which is how I discovered that they sell $80 Star Trek blankets.
Yes, they do.
Do you know how many blankets that I could buy or make with $80? Oh my God.
Well, they are 30% off right now.
Yeah.
There was an interview in some publication where they talked to the head of programming at Paramount, who said that Star Trek is still a priority and they do still want to make more Star Trek.
Is that the same interview where they talked about, it was something about how they were saying, is Kurtzman out? For sure, because they were talking about looking for new writers and fresh ideas and always pushing the envelope. I can't remember the exact quote, but it was going around somewhere going, does this mean he's officially out? And I'm like, or it's someone who has no media training and was just spouting off. Like,
yeah, I don't think we really know on that.
No.
What we do know is Kurtzman has not renewed his deal yet, because we would have learned about that.
Correct.
Now,
and a lot of that was probably the mess with the merger.
And that's still happening, because now that it's on hold and they have to pay lots of money every week that it continues to be on hold.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with that.
For sure. All right, well, it's all right that we had a slow news week, because, there's nothing else to talk about.
No. Certainly not. There have been no waves of any kind in the fandom this week. It's been very smooth sailing. Everyone's of one mind about Star Trek and this week's episode. They all loved it, I hear.
Universally loved, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And everybody was polite and kind in the Discord around it, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely... No one ever said that, this is the end of Star Trek or anything hyperbolic like that.
Nobody gave up on the entire franchise after 5 minutes of this, which is silly because they didn't even show up as puppets until more than 5 minutes in. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. No, but they knew it was coming. That's all they needed.
Nobody prejudged this before they had seen anything.
There were people who loudly announced they had given up on the franchise before the episode aired.
Yes. Yes.
Whatever. You know what? I was telling somebody else I was being excited the other day, and I was putting out there, I can't wait. I love it. Yeah, no excitement over here from me ever, especially not about my two favorite things coming together. Like, I don't remember not loving Muppets and like Henson and all that. Like, it was just a foundational part of my DNA in my house. Like, we only watched PBS, and then the Muppet Show when it was possible. And so this is me, my Star Trek love, my Muppet love, it comes together. And anyone who told me, well, I'm happy for you, but no, go kick rocks. Don't harsh anyone's joy. Don't butt after that. Because anything you say after that takes away from the fact that you were actually happy for me, because I don't feel like you were. And you know what? Just because this episode was like kind of made for me doesn't mean that when there's episodes that weren't made for me, I'm going to go out there and tell everybody that they're horrible, terrible people because they have no taste. Well, that's not true. We just don't have the same taste, and that's fine. Remember that infinite diversity
there
thing?
were a couple people who liked
Yep.
Section 31, and I didn't tell them they were terrible people.
Exactly.
I may have thought it. I'm kidding. I did not think it. Strange New Worlds, Season 4, Episode 5, Level 5 Transporter Accident. What'd you think, Abby?
I love this episode. Like I knew, but like I just said, I knew I was going to. These are my two sweet spots. And I love, just like I was uncovering Easter eggs for Trek in it, I was uncovering Muppet Easter eggs in it, which is so fun and so lovely. And, you know, when you are thinking about puppetry in general, you forget that, or most people do, how much artistry and work and time it takes to do it. And like, as someone who listens to puppetry podcasts and who knows the behind the scenes and likes how things are created and what they do to make things happen and all of that, if you've watched any of behind the scenes, this was made with so much love and care. And no matter if you liked it or not, whether it worked for you or not, it's important to know that this was high quality of puppetry work,
Yes.
right? Like my podcast partner Chris and I were talking about this. You can separate the fact that something is beautifully produced and well done and high quality in that respect in the production areas, even if it didn't work for you. Your reaction and the quality of the production do not necessarily have to be the same thing. So if this wasn't your jam, great, but please respect the fact that this was really well done. And like, how many of you out there were like, oh, a new chair? Seriously? Do you know why he had a new chair? Because it was big and fat and hit all those puppeteers that were underneath it. Thank you very much. So, you know, just
I didn't
think
think
about
about that.
yeah.
Of
That's why
course.
they laid on sickbay beds a lot in this episode, because they could hide puppeteers. Like the amount, it's 1,000 little things like that. And the production value of this was off the charts. I loved the zaniness of it. I loved the fun of it. I was not so pumped about the twist at the end, but I have come around to an interesting theory when we get to talking about that. And you know what? I think this is one of those ones that I know it's not the very best episode of Star Trek, but I love it. And I don't care. And I'm really happy that I can now watch it whenever I want to, because Pelia Muppet is nothing but shot of joy straight into the veins every single moment she's on screen. So
The Pelia Muppet is perfection.
Absolute perfection. One of the best puppets I have seen that is a likeness of somebody out there. I mean, maybe the Jim Henson one is better, but like it's top 5 of all impression Muppets ever. Puppets. I know we're not supposed to call them Muppets.
Yeah,
That is
so yes, technically speaking, even though they are made by the Jim Henson Company and they are absolutely in the style of the Muppets, they are not Muppets because Muppets is a registered trademark of Disney.
correct. And there are a lot of other really good puppets and puppeteers out there doing things in this style, because this is the style of puppetry that was literally designed for TV. If you have any interest at all in the history of puppetry or puppeteering, or how Jim Henson and his wife Jane pretty much changed how puppets were perceived by the entire TV viewing population on both sides of the pond, his biography is incredible. It's absolutely amazing. The vision that he had for how screens and puppets can go together, and then the magic that you can use because of that is just amazing. So this was high quality. And if you ever have a chance to go back, there's an old show that was the Jim Henson Creature Shop competition, and it's some of like the world's best puppet creators doing it, and it's absolutely fascinating. Absolutely fascinating.
I would also recommend, if you just want to take some time to watch and learn about Jim Henson, there's a YouTube channel called Defunct Land, which mostly does videos, documentary type videos about old amusement park rides that no longer exist, or entire amusement parks. So actually, they're probably gonna do one about the Muppets in Disney World, since that closed recently.
Yeah.
They've also done occasional forays into old TV shows, and they did a series on Jim Henson, a 6-part video series covering all of the different Jim Henson's entire life and all the different shows he worked on, and it was, I found it very good.
Yeah, well, and there's a documentary out there. I want to say Netflix. It could be Peacock, but called Imagination Man, which is a very general overview. Like, it's a 2-hour version of that 6-episode story. And
Nice.
if you know anything about the history of Gene Roddenberry, he might not have been the most perfect husband or man, but the creativity and the vision was there. Same kind of thing with Jim Henson. He wasn't always a perfect man, but he had a vision and a creativity and a deep kindness, and both of them had so much hope for the future, right? They were looking for coming together and peace and harmony and kindness and putting yourself out there to be inclusive. And that was both a Gene Roddenberry and a Jim Henson feature. I mean, Jim Henson created Fraggle Rock to be a show that would help promote world peace. So, like, this is a long time coming collaboration. And people always go that, who would you invite to dinner, 3 people living or dead? And I always say that my 2 of my 3 would be Gene Roddenberry and Jim Henson. So, and it might be LeVar Burton as the third. Like, let's get the trifecta of the nerd pin PBS kid here.
Nice.
But, yeah,
You got to get Mr. Rogers in there too.
yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, make
Bob
it for
Ross.
It's a hypothetical anyway, so it could be any 10 people living or dead.
There you go.
And Julia Child can make the meal.
Oh gods, yeah.
If
I'll
we're,
take it.
we're going classic PBS, why not go all out?
Yeah.
All right. Chrissie,
Okay.
what'd you think?
I loved it. Is it weird? Is it, funny? Is it goofy? Yes. So is let me see how many I can name off the top of my head. Rascals,
Mhm.
Al Moraine. I know I was supposed to call the episode
Move
Al
Along
Moraine.
Move along home.
Move Along Home,
Yeah.
thank you. Shore Leave, the original
Mhm.
series.
I mean, like half of the original series, really.
Well, yeah. Trouble with Tribbles.
Yeah.
None.
Mhm.
I thought I was going to have a longer list there right off the top of my head, and I don't. But that's fine. So, yeah, it's great. It's Star Trek. Anybody who's out there saying that it's not Star Trek, no, it is. Okay, is it the really heavy, dark Star Trek that we've kind of come to know and love in this era of our heavy, dark world where people are rediscovering Deep Space Nine and all of that? No, it's the Star Trek that we need for our heavy, dark world, which is an hour of feel good message entertainment that we don't have to think too hard about, because that sometimes you need entertainment you don't have to think too hard about. And it was wonderful. And it had Trek messaging. I'm
Yes.
say right off the bat, okay, this was about teamwork. The pre-open, the previously on about Scotty not having to do things alone and all of that. And nothing worked until they worked together
Mhm.
and recognized not only their limitations, but their strengths, which is
We work
Trek
better all together. We overcome our obstacles,
Our obstacles
as
is
one.
one.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. No, I think
Yep.
you're right.
Great.
It was not something that you're going to sit and necessarily meditate on, but it's something you're going to think about and hopefully smile. I mean, I laughed out loud multiple times. My girls, when they watched this with me, were
Mhm.
belly laughing, like the deep, huge belly laughing. Like, they were loving it. And you know what?
Mhm.
That's part of what I love the Muppets for, is that when you leave, you feel a little bit refreshed and better about the world. That's what I like about puppetry too. It lets you have that little bit of joy in there. So I'm not sad about a shot of joy in Star Trek.
No, we need it.
It's funny you should mention Trouble with Tribbles, Chrissie.
Yes.
Because I've been listening to the podcast that Tawny Newsome has been doing with her longtime podcast partner Andrew T. and Jesse Gender, called Starter Trek, where they've been going through...
Okay.
They just recently started it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I heard it was coming, but I didn't realize it had actually started.
I've been waiting for her to come back with Paul F. Tompkins for years, so I didn't even know this was happening. Okay.
Yeah, no, check it out. It's great.
I will.
So what she's doing is she's introducing Andrew to Star Trek, because Andrew has seen a
Nice.
few episodes of Star Trek. He's a casual fan, but not entrenched in the fandom like the rest of us are. So what they've done is they've been going through and picking 5 episodes of a particular theme from the pre-streaming era. So an episode of TOS, TNG, etc. And the most recent, the current theme that they're doing is weird fuzzy something or other. So anyway, the Tribbles, the
fuzzy little guys,
something like that. Yeah. And so like they're so they actually did a bonus 6th episode for this because they also did more Tribbles, more trouble.
Fair.
But then when they do TNG, they're gonna do the Dauphin because of the fuzzy.
Nice.
Literally
nice.
A fuzzy little guy in that episode. Or little gal, I guess. But when they were talking about Trouble with Tribbles, something that I didn't know, because Jessie Gender is there to provide the deep knowledge about stuff, and like the historical background info and all that. And she was saying that apparently a bunch of the people like in the production team like hated Trouble with Tribbles because Star Trek isn't supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Like apparently Fred Freiberger hated it. Like because David Gerrold had a meeting with Fred Freiberger to see if he to possibly come on the writers' room for season 3, and apparently like it started out with Fred Freiberger. Oh, so you wrote Tribbles, right? Hated that. Star Trek isn't supposed to be funny. So this has been there since the beginning.
That's yeah.
Again, you don't get to tell people what their opinions are, but you also don't have to take your opinion and make everybody else align with it. That's why they're called opinions.
Yeah. Something I didn't realize is that they even like stuck Trouble with Tribbles in a time slot in between Christmas and New Year's because they just wanted to get it out of the way and didn't think anyone would watch it.
Oh, geez, that's funny. Anyway,
people not thinking that Star Trek is Star Trek dates back at least as far as 1967. Just so you know.
Back when we didn't even know what Star Trek practically was. Yes. Okay.
At least there's some consistency in the universe, right?
Yes.
So I also really like this episode. Unfortunately, we're not getting much of an infinite diversity of opinion on this one.
You know what? That's okay.
We're balancing out some of the other loud end of this spectrum.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
The reaction online has been wild. There have been a lot of people who really liked it. There have been a lot of people who truly despised it. And there doesn't seem to be much meeting of the minds between them. Personally, I think the ending works well and helps make the episode work for me because I do feel like if it had been real, it gets a little possibly too ridiculous even for me.
See, and they go into a singing reality, right? They've changed into lizards. Like if we can accept all that, then
and I wouldn't have hated it, but I do think it makes it better.
See, I think that they've tacked that ending on it was all a dream, right? They get to do that once in Star Trek. They haven't done it before, but now they're done,
That's
right?
true.
Like, don't do this again.
They have done it before in Star Trek.
Well, okay, but no. Are you talking about Vanishing Point with Hoshi?
I am talking about Vanishing Point.
It wasn't a dream. It was a transporter thing, right?
It was a hallucination inside the... It was effectively a dream.
Okay.
Well, we were talking
and
about
also, I
generations
hate
earlier,
that it was
too.
I hate that it was a hallucination in Vanishing Point. I wish it had been real.
Well, except well, yeah. There are some details in there that would have had to been changed then.
Yes, I agree. But I wish that it had been a real thing and a real problem that they had to solve and get Hoshi back. And not all in her head. But this worked better than that.
But I think they tacked it on because now people who would have said, hey, this was way too much for me if it had stayed real, are like you. And they're like, well, it was a dream. So whatever. It was fun. It was wacky. Now I'm cool with it. And there were people who were going to hate it or love it either way. And I feel like that was tacked on for the ambivalent person to be like, yeah, all right, I can square that. The ones who aren't going to sit there and dissect every detail to death like we are, that are just going to watch it, have fun, and move on. So that's
No,
what I think it was there for.
I don't follow. What? People who just don't dissect every detail of Star Trek? I'm sorry.
I know.
What?
What?
What's the
What do
point?
they do for fun?
I'm of two minds about it. I don't mind that it was a dream, but I also do kind of wish they would have owned it. So,
Well, and what's interesting is, like I said, I watched this with my girls, and they're 10 and 8 now. And my 10-year-old was like, "No, I don't like that. That was a dream." She's like, "I wanted that to have been real." And then my little one was like, "No, that's amazing. Maybe he'll dream it again." I was like, "Oh, well."
oh,
So interesting. And they
oh,
both
yeah.
loved the episode, even with the twist at the end and their different opinions. Like, they both really, really liked it. So, obviously Strange New Worlds is not written for children, but it is important that children can like Star Trek and then continue to like it into the future. So,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
just saying. And my girls have watched more Star Trek than most people because they live with me, right? And we we do all that stuff, but they haven't seen all of it because they're not ready for it yet. Some of it is super scary. Like, they might never watch Griffin Incident. That's okay. Like, or at
Don't
least
say never. They're going to be adults at some point.
That's true. That's true.
I
It
hope
will be
so.
a long time before they need to watch that one, right? But but I had to explain that to them a little bit in this one too. So, like, I'm like, they had a really bad time and a scary time on a ship, and it has affected them still, and they keep thinking about it because they were really freaked out.
Yep.
But the ending is interesting, and when we get more towards it, it's interesting that this was Spock's dream, and I've come around more to it because if it was, and you're thinking that his brain is creating all of this, and yes, I know people are like, but he was not in some of the scenes. Yeah, haven't you ever had a dream where you go back and forth to being part of it and observing it? Because I have those all the time. Like, that doesn't bother me. Yeah, I change like position in the dream a ton,
Yeah.
but
Never thought
yeah,
about
so
that.
whatever. But like all of this then, like talking to the Orion in the bar, all of that therapy type thing that was, a distraction was his brain processing something.
Mhm.
Everything T'Pring said to him was his brain processing something. All these zany hijinks and everything was his brain pushing him to get to a conclusion, because he was already
Yeah.
having issues before any of this happened, right? He was already calling on T'Pring to help him with his logic and everything. So when you think about it all being a dream, as how this fits into Spock's journey, and how this for
Mhm.
this his character, it's just very interesting, right? Like, he's thinking about his breakup with La'an when she's a puppet in there. He's processing all of this, and it's a really interesting, because we know he's got to get to the Spock we see in TOS. So I think this is just one more of those moments that's pushing him from the more explanation to the human side, and more feeling and being ready to be with emotions and all that, towards the Spock that we know is coming, because this was just
Mhm.
one more thing, and his brain made it more clear to him when he was dreaming it. So when I thought about it that way, I liked it more, but I didn't think about it the first time I watched it. I was just like,
Yeah.
oh, boo. But then it is more interesting to think about. Like, just like on the Griffin, he imagined everything with T'Pring there. He imagined a whole bunch
Yep.
of stuff with T'Pring on this one. And it's telling you something about yourself. We are learning more about Spock by what he imagined. And wow, does he think Pelia is zany?
Yeah. I'm a puppet with no shoes.
That was so funny. Like, that one almost
That's
made
got to be a direct reference to Academy, right?
100%. And
Oh,
then
I'm
she's where
sure.
she's the rest of the episode, right?
Yeah.
She's out
Yeah.
floating in space barefoot. Like, that is one of my favorite things. And when she was hurling the shoes, my daughters were laughing so hard. And I was watching them laugh, and I'm laughing myself like that. It's just silliness, pure silliness.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's not. It does still have character development. It does still
Yes.
have relevance to things that have happened, things that will happen. Since the first episode of Strange New Worlds, I have been racking my brain as to how we get from the T'Pring that we have met here to the T'Pring that we see in Amok Time.
Mm-hmm.
And they're making it happen. They're making it work.
Mhm.
Okay, because we are now seeing that Spock is feeling, at this point they do not have a relation. They don't have a romantic relationship. They're not engaged anymore.
Mhm.
But we see Spock looking to her to be more of his Vulcan self, and we see him feeling obligated toward her more and more, to where we're going to get to the point where he's feeling obligated and she's realized that she can't do that. She can't live that way. So it's not quite the same message as Amok Time originally had, which was about a woman taking agency for her own decisions. It still has that message to it, but there's more to it than that now.
I love this T'Pring. Like
Mhm.
everything that she's in is better, besides the fact that she is always impeccably dressed. And let me tell you, there has never been a better dressed puppet. I'm sorry, Miss Piggy out there, but like T'Pring looked amazing. I mean, she even had the little flowy skirt out behind. She had the
Yep.
purple jewelry and the earrings, like
Yep.
all the way up her neck, and her eyeshadow was still on her puppet, her purple eyeshadow. It was perfection. Her
They did a
little
nice
bun
job.
in the back, like, oh my god, that was a beautiful outfit on both the person and the puppets. But yeah, I love T'Pring, and I love how Spock is going back to her in his brain over and over again when he's searching for logic. Like, they are bonded. They've shared each other's minds. They've shared each other's bodies. Come on now. So like, of course he's going to go to when he's feeling vulnerable and unsettled, he's going to go to somebody who he knows is going to be settling. One way or the other, she's going to be very definitive.
Something just occurred to me as you're talking about that. He doesn't have anybody else to go to for that. The only other person in his life that he might go to for that, who knows him that well, is his father. And
And he
there
won't
ain't
do
no
that.
way in hell he's calling him.
Mm-mm.
And that's so, yeah, there's a whole other layer there. She is representing that which is Vulcan in him more than his own family is. He doesn't, I mean, he might have gone to Michael before,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know?
I have thought
And
that a lot this season about, man, I wish Michael was around to give him a hug and a talk.
yeah. And so I didn't even occur to me until you were talking there about with T'Pring, which gives another layer to the feeling of obligation that he has, and what brings him to the place where he is in Amok Time. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Although, interestingly, James Frain did recently say he is coming back.
I know. But
Okay, but that doesn't mean that he sees Spock or that they talk to each other, I guess.
Well, and if they do, they're not going to have a heart-to-heart.
no.
We know that, because
Well,
that would, based on
and if
Journey to Babel, we know that they don't.
Yeah.
and if 10 of this season, the finale, which we've seen in the previews, is Uhura going into the future or a
Oh.
future,
Oh, yeah.
there's nothing to say that it can't be after they've come back. That's kind of what I thought once we saw
an
the
I
alternate
assumed
preview.
he was going to be in season 5, but yeah, no, that makes sense. That could also be.
I mean, because they've been done filming both for a long time, so that's not like him in the makeup chair with the Vulcan ears on picture that was quickly taken away was something current. So,
Right.
I mean, who
Yeah.
knows how long he's been sitting on that?
I was disappointed that they didn't have him play the Romulan commander at the end of season 1.
I know.
We already talked about that at the end of season 1, but yeah. Yeah.
Just like I mean, I will say that Dan Janot has really grown on me, but I did at the beginning wish that he was Paul Wesley with a mustache.
Yeah, me too.
See,
But they wouldn't have been able to do what they've done.
No. And I have seen him in other work, and when he popped up, I'm like, oh, it's that guy. I love that guy. So I'm glad, but yes, it would have been funny for sure.
Yeah.
But no, but I think this got a lot better when you realize this is just another piece of Spock's story, right? And we have seen entire narratives and episodes take place in other characters' heads before. I mean, the Inner Light, Picard had a whole life, right? And he comes back out and he's like, whoa, all this. And
yeah. Just because it hasn't been a dream doesn't mean
it hasn't
this
been.
is Spock's inner light in a way, and not really like that, but in a way.
Right. But like in Hard Time, think about that one. Like there's a whole thing about implanted memories and implanted time and different time and coming from. I mean, if you've been to the future, you've lived more time than you've actually lived in your own timeline. And I mean, this is not something that Star Trek doesn't do, especially as like a character exploration. Think about schisms. All right. Riker's in his head that entire episode, and it is character growth for him. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah. There's just...
I mean, and if we want to choose less good episodes, we've got Coda.
Yep. But I mean, this is something that science fiction does a lot, right? So, yes, it was a dream. Yes, it's kind of a cop-out, but it doesn't mean that this isn't a character building episode. And we've been clamoring as a fandom. We want more character. We want to see more about what they're thinking and what they're feeling. That was this episode. This was what Spock was thinking and feeling, just personified in a very zany way. And there's been a lot of talk about how many, women Spock is ping-ponging from in this. And now, let's go credit to Jim Morehouse, who put up a beautiful post on Blue Sky a little bit ago about, oh, wait, I thought we were talking about TOS, and was like listing all of the times Spock, had a girl. And I get it. Like, they're all three in a close air. I mean, they're all, two of the three are in the same ship. They're all within a close time period. This one, he's kissing a puppet in his brain like a day or two after he broke up with La'an, maybe. But whatever. I think
no, after La'an broke up with him.
True. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. After they ended their relationship, we'll put it that way. But I think he's one of those like really smart nerd guys who doesn't realize how attractive he is, but has like all these opportunities and is just trying stuff and like keeps coming back to the one, like to praying, right? That there's always one, and he's not trying to be mean or heartless or play them. He's just oblivious to the fact that women find him incredibly attractive, and he's just kind of finding relationships and exploring, and he's never the one leaving, right? They're always leaving him. So it's interesting for him. He's just looking for connection, and to see how that's playing out in his brain isn't interesting. I mean, we know more about Spock than pretty much anybody else in Star Trek, except maybe Worf. So
no, we know more about Spock than we know about Worf, I think.
Yeah. But
Worf has been on more has more hours on screen, but I think we know more about Spock.
That's got to be coming close to. Well, no, because these seasons aren't full seasons. Never mind.
Either way, I
Michael
think it's
Dorn has the record for the most appearances in Star Trek.
Yeah.
Either way, I don't see this as taking away from Spock's journey. I see this as another step on his journey. And this is not an episode you can skip if you want to know that full journey. There's stuff that happens in this episode that's important to him and who he is and who he's going to become.
Yep. I'll repeat. Stranger New Worlds is just new historical information adding to what we already had.
And sometimes the Strange New Worlds are all within ourselves.
The Strange New Worlds were the friends we made along the way.
Yep, that works too.
Were the friends we made along the way were strange? No, wait. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that has, in my experience, that has also been true.
I mean, this is how we're spending a Friday night, just saying.
Sounds great to me.
It's wonderful. I'm not complaining at all.
All right. So, in this episode...
Sorry, future dad.
I knew what I was getting in for.
We're bouncing around. It's okay. It's not like we have to keep to the exact.
We talked about the big theme, right?
We're recording this on Friday. I have days to edit this. I'm still going to do it Monday night, but I have days to do it.
I was so proud of myself last week for getting it done on Sunday, and then I just almost forgot to put it up. I didn't do it right away.
That's funny.
All right. So yeah, they're on their way to Vulcan, but they need to protect space system from Orion pirates. So I'm just gonna say it. I don't care about the Orions. Every time the Orions show up, I do not care.
Is that including lower decks?
Tendi is the exception. And those Orion storylines involving Tendi are also an exception.
I was going to say those old scientists, but that's a Tendi adjacent, so that's okay.
Even then, don't care a lot. But yes, Tendi is related to that story.
I mean, they're a catalyst, that's all.
I did like seeing that one guy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine as an Orion. That was good.
Well, and do you know who the actress who plays the main lady pirate, whose name I can't remember right now? Do you know what else she's been in on Star Trek? She was Kess's mom in Before and After.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so, like,
Cool.
yeah, I saw somebody post that. I don't remember who, sorry, whoever was the original one who got that out there. But, yeah, same actress. And how cool is that? Because you don't get a lot of people from that era of Trek and in this era of Trek. So it's fun whenever that happens.
Yeah, no, because she looked familiar to me, but then I looked her up and I'm like, no, I don't know her at all.
Yeah.
Well, you do, but you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, different makeup in that case. So.
Speaking of makeup, I'm going to put a little plug out here as an Enterprise-loving person that I still think Enterprise did the best makeup for the Orions out there. This modern one, there's just something about, like,
I
their
don't like
skin looks
the
rough.
prosthetic they add to it.
Yeah, and the hair is good, but I liked the Enterprise. I feel like it was the best Orion makeup.
Yeah, like
Again,
I
have an
really
opinion.
hated it on Discovery. Like when they gave Osira prosthetic cheeks for no reason.
Yeah. Well, and it just like I said, it's something about the texture of the makeup that they put on them. And I don't mind textured aliens. Like, I think the Suliban are awesome because they're textured all the way down to their fingernails, right? But something about this Orion makeup in the modern age and I think part of it too is that they don't always do like the inner eyelids and the mouth and like the like tongue and teeth, and they used to be green. Like when you can see pink outline around their eyes or that their tongue is pink, like I get it, but it's a tiny detail that a nerd like me notices, and in Enterprise they took care of that. Doug Jones would never.
Doug Jones would never. You're right. Doug Jones would look at it and be like, somebody paint my tongue blue or green.
Jeffrey
or
Combs
he'd be like, give me a lollipop.
Oh, yeah.
He had
imagine
blue gums and tongue
Yeah.
all the time on Enterprise. Like, I don't know if he was just sucking on the Jolly Ranchers or they did something more official, but, you know, he was blue.
There's somebody we needed to see.
He just had a constant supply of blue Jolly Ranchers. I like this theory.
Yeah.
Well, as someone who works with small people, one of the reasons that those always go first is because they turn their mouth blue.
100%.
Like, they happen to taste fairly decent in the order of like taste of Jolly Rancher progression, but the fact that your mouth is blue boosts them way up. No, watermelon is the best. I like grape too, but that's just me. I've always liked grape.
Cherry are also good.
Grape and cherry
tastes like cough medicine.
That's the kind of cough medicine that I can, like, they taste like the Luden's cough medicine, the ones that I could just eat a whole box of.
Luden's isn't cough medicine. Luden's is pretending to be cough medicine. Yeah.
Well, I don't like the menthol, so I like the Luden's.
Well, we've kind of covered the beginning, right? Everything except for Little Ricky. We've talked about the breakup a little bit.
Yeah,
We've talked
Little
about
Ricky is terrifying. Let's just put
Little
this out there
Ricky
right
is
there.
not the puppet that I want to buy.
No. Okay, so Jay saw that and he says, "That's like the clown from Poltergeist."
Like,
yes, it is.
Well, and in all fairness, Scotty wanted to beam that over to Declan's place to scare the pants out of him. So, like, off of him, not out of him. I hope he didn't eat his pants. But yeah, that would have worked. I mean, it really would have worked. I'm glad you caught that. So he is, and I think it was really funny when like Scotty's calling for Spock, and he's so excited about this stupid prank. He's like, "Mr. Spock, Little Ricky's ready to fly," and then Tippering is like, "I do not know who Little Ricky is," and then she gets to say it again later at the end, and it is funny to think that Tippering and Little Ricky were in the same room at the same time, because
Mr. Scott brought that. He thought it would make you feel better.
Yeah, it does not.
Just imagine that conversation.
The instant it does not was one of my favorite lines.
Oh, that was beautiful. Yeah.
So, has Scotty been holding on to Little Ricky all this time, or did he replicate a version of Little Ricky for this transporter?
Yeah, because I know all his stuff went down with his old ship with the Star
Well, no, it's more like, why would he keep the toy that his brothers tormented him with?
He brought it to the Academy.
Yeah, he did the Academy, yeah.
All right.
Maybe it's one of those things he loves because it's so ugly, it's cute to him. to him.
Possible.
It's also possible that he's trying to get rid of it and his brothers keep putting it in his luggage.
Yeah.
I could
Or
definitely
it
see
just
something like that
is
happening.
cursed and puts itself in his luggage.
Or it didn't
It looks
look like
like it.
that when they, yeah. It didn't look like that when he first started, and like his eye fell off, so they replaced it with a different color button, and like they ripped his sleeve, messing around with him, so they tied something back on. You know, like this could have been a puppet that had been repaired many times over the years by the many children in that family.
Yeah, I was going to say, because he's the youngest, right?
He's
So
the
for all
youngest
we-
of 7,
that-
he said in a couple episodes ago.
That could have been, that plushie could have been 15 years old by the time he even came around. So
Exactly. But I love that he has a rival. Like, we've seen him and Ortegas go at it a little bit, and now he's got this like this seems to be a thing for Scotty. He gets like a chip on his shoulder about something or someone, and he just doesn't let it go. And I love that was when they were talking to La'an when they're trying to transport her back, and they were talking about, oh, she could go here or there, even to Declan's quarters. And she's like, I don't even know what that is. And then they both start talking about it, and Spock is like, it's his old college or his old academy friend who he won't stop going on about. He's like, is this monster that just tortured me, and Apellia loves, and like that's what goes into his brain about Scotty in his dream, right? He keeps thinking about Apellia just ragging on Scotty.
Oh my god, that was so good that Pellia was Oh, Declan would have figured it out by now.
My. That was just...
It was so funny.
And then he even created the explanation for it that gave Scotty credit, because like, his father was on the board, or his parents were on the board.
Exactly. So I when you think about that as being part of Spock's dream, that makes sense too, because that was one of the last things he was hearing and thinking about before he got knocked out, right? So I think that's awesome. His dream was working like dreams do, taking stuff that you've talked about or that's going on and then putting it all together in strange ways.
Yep. So I think this episode, Spock explains to everybody what happened, and that's why the TOS bridge is all buttons and levers.
Yep. And it flashes because of Scotty and Ortega. So look at that. We're getting closer and closer every week. His little glove to try to make things work was funny too, because that's such a Muppet.
The real question is Pike going to still have his new chair next week, or will they?
Yeah.
Because it was only in the dream that he decided to get rid of the chair.
Right.
True.
And
my guess is not, though.
Get rid of the touch screen without having, he could still have the nice comfy part of the chair.
Mm-hmm.
It looked nice and plushy.
It did.
I just loved the fact that they had such, as someone who, again, was thinking about puppets, that was such an obvious thing to put in the middle of the bridge so that you had space to put people. Because when they build puppet sets for TV, they build them up like 5 feet off the ground, so there's space underneath and they can go up. And this is a set that does not have a basement. At least I
it's
assume
a shame
it
wasn't. It's a shame they weren't still using the Shenzhou bridge set, because that would have had plenty of room.
That is very true.
Have you, at risk of having another tangent, have you ever read about behind the scenes on Alf and how messed up that was?
No.
Oh yeah. They did even that living room was full of holes. Everybody sprained their ankle at least once because they'd stuck, they tripped and missed. But the Alf's puppeteer insisted that no one talk to him and only talk to Alf as if he were a real actor. Not like in scenes, but like, oh yeah. So anyway, there's a whole interesting
method, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, and I have to say, part of what makes good puppetry is when the people that they're interacting with or the other puppet believe that they're real, right? Like you hear over and over about people who go to Sesame Street and they're talking to like Big Bird and Cookie Monster, and they're not even acknowledging that because they're so real. And that's good puppetry, but I think when you can't turn it off, that is a little much.
Did you see the pictures of Harrison Ford?
Yes.
Oh, with Cookie Monster? Yes. That's so good.
That's so good.
Did you see the video?
Mm-hmm.
No, I only saw stills. I didn't realize.
Oh, no, you need to watch the video, because so what's happening is Cookie Monster is gobbling the cookies while also humming the Indiana Jones theme. And then Harrison Ford joins in.
It's amazing. I love it.
I love it.
Well, if we were talking about when La'an was trying to be transported, right? I I really liked in that scene how Scotty is making sure that he has like deniability and all this. He's like, no, 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 no.
Mhm.
You wait. I didn't say I'm onto something. I said I might be onto something. Like I think that's it was an interesting distinction to see him make there. And I thought that was fun, especially since then her arm does pop off,
Yeah.
which very funny. And then later, when she's on the biobed and sick bay and they're sewing her back on, did you see the graphic above and how it's like an X-ray, except it's got an X-ray of her ponytail with it too? And I was just
I
laughing
didn't
because
catch
it's
that.
so silly.
Oh,
That's
It's
amazing.
so silly, but that's very Muppety too, right? Like
yeah.
when you can see an X-ray of a picture inside a Muppet, and like there's the actual like apple or full banana or whatever.
It would
Mhm.
be kind of funny if you could see a hand inside her.
That would be
That
funny.
would have been funny.
But you know what? I really like that they addressed that too. And I have to say
Yes.
that the scene
Oh,
with
so you're
April
not
and
puppets,
Pike, right?
puppets.
But you're still puppets. Like that was
Yeah.
so funny. And like, no, I'm controlling me, which was great too because then it was dealing with some of those things just head on. That people were gonna be like, okay, but if they were puppets, where were the people with their hands? And like, well,
Yeah.
they were dealing with that. They were talking about it, and the solution was to actually be like puppets, embrace the chaos, and and
Mhm.
act like you are stuffed. And it made me laugh when was it to Pring says later that they solved this whole beaming thing and Scotty was right. He hadn't calculated for their exact quantum was it no
Polymers.
quantum
Polyfill.
Polyfill. Polyfill. Yeah.
polyfilaments, yes. And it was and I was like, oh my god, that's funny. That's funny.
hmm
Yep, you're right. There's the ponytail.
Yeah, I have
It's
to look too.
funny. It's funny. Silly.
Yeah. I love the conversation about how at least it wasn't a level 6 transporter accident. And it makes me long for more lower decks because if we still had lower decks, we could have revisited the
Mm-hmm.
farm and seen
Mm-hmm.
some puppets. You
Yeah.
know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if Boimler was a level 6 when he was making that
Face
noise.
horrible noise.
Oh, that's a good question.
My daughters both asked me, they're like, wait, 5 out of what? Like 5 out of 5, 5 out of 10, 5 out of 100? And I'm like, we don't know. But
No?
he says
How do
at
you
least
even
it wasn't a 6,
quantify
so-
this? I mean,
yeah.
Yeah. and- yeah.
what level were the people in the motion picture that died?
I was just about to say that.
Well, what
That's
level
his
were the
next.
people that Barkley grabbed out that
No.
were like looking like the worms, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
Well, they were
Yeah,
just
so, I mean-
stuck in the transporter.
What level was Tuvix?
oh,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Tuvix is a 6. Or maybe Tuvix is a 5, actually. Transformation.
I feel like Tuvix is combining people is higher than transformation.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, would Rascals have been
Let me
a
figure
level
this out.
5 then? 'Cause
I
they
would say
transform
Rascals is probably a level 5 or 4.5
Yeah.
because they were still human.
Yeah.
we need a graphic. Come on, people.
Right. Speaking of the
Spreadsheet
buffer, again, we get a comment from Scotty about being stuck in the buffer. I hope we don't hear any more of that. And like, it was okay.
It was funny the first time. We don't
Yes.
need to
Yeah.
keep doing that.
And
yeah.
like, if there had been more episodes between, then maybe I would have liked it better. But yeah, we get it.
So
we
I
know
have to
we get stuck in the
say-
buffer.
Strange New Worlds uses that pattern buffer like no other series, right?
Yes.
Like everybody
Mhm.
else, once in a while, it's their go-to. Oh, just stick them in the buffer. Just stick them in the buffer.
Yep.
So it's one of their old tricks that isn't. It's tried and true for them.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I like, before we leave that scene in the transporter when her arm pops off, is that when she was happy that she was still a puppet. And then later when they
Yes.
talk about that again, when you think about this is Spock's brain making this up, right?
Yep.
He is trying to find a way to make La'an happy and to make her feel good and to relieve some of her worry because he has shared her brain, right? Like, and they were finished having an intimate relationship. So I think it was really sweet that he was still thinking of things that would make her better in his dream.
Yep. Yep.
All right.
I like how immediately Mbenga and Chapel are like, we need to find out if this means we can't die. Still organic, but
And he said, because we're organics, it's just we can die, but that's, like, not necessarily true.
right. They're like, we need to research it. Okay, let's do. They
Well, they
did
would,
the
though.
mannerisms beautifully. I mean, you see the Mbenga, you know.
And Bengus was
Just
really good. And then
really
later on, when he attacks with the knitting needles, like it
eyes.
was so. But that was Mbenga fighting, right? And when you look, he's either stabbing that dude in the knees or the groin, either or both.
Yeah.
Either way, that's pretty much an Mbenga move. Like he didn't have to kill him; he just took him out of the action.
I mean, yeah, stabbing him in the groin would certainly probably be the most effective way for a puppet to attack someone.
Well, knees though too. I mean, as someone who's had many knee surgeries, your knee goes, you're down.
Oh, yeah.
So, but and both totally in puppet reach.
All right, so I question the idea that none of them can use their consoles. Like, surely it's designed for multiple types of control.
Yes,
Like-
and multiple species that have different types of skin. And
Yeah, like,
yeah,
this feels like an ADA violation if it only works with...
I mean, how would you get cetacean ops to happen then, right?
Right.
Tuvok had his tactile interface.
Yeah.
That is true.
And just like, or just straight up voice commands. Spock saying,
Yeah.
computer, relinquish chair control, authorize chair control to Spock.
yeah.
Yeah, but again, this is where knowing that it's a dream,
Yeah.
Spock has created a situation wherein he has the sole responsibility for everything, which is representing how he feels about what's going on. So
And
that,
there is,
when you look
we
at it
do
that way,
find
it makes
out
sense.
later, after the Orions shoot them, Pelia does say voice commands are down.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he
So
freaked
maybe it
out
was
even
just
more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would assume that if the captain's chair, because I mean, all right, how many people / androids do we know that can mimic voices, right? So you wouldn't want the chair that can control the entire ship to be able to be unlocked only by voice control, like
Yeah.
2-factor authentication, right?
Okay, but like, if it was on, but like, they didn't have, that hadn't happened yet in this timeline.
Okay, but wouldn't you think that we can AI people's voices now? I'm sure they could go back if they really wanted to take over. Yeah, this
Yeah,
is in
no,
his
I get
head.
that.
He's forcing the situation. You're completely right. But yes, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
But no, it does, yeah, that's a very good point. All of this makes sense once you realize that it's Spock's dream.
I mean, have you never had a stress dream where you were responsible for everything that
yeah.
was going on
Yeah.
to a like insane level? Yeah. So that's just what it is. He's having a stress dream. He had a panic
very
nap. And he's having a
detailed
stress
one.
dream. Mhm.
Well, but you know, it also is. I like thinking about it that way. It because it makes you see that. And I mean, they spent years not talking about him being half human, and then they spent a bunch of time talking about him being half human, and he was saying, I'm trying to explore this. I'm learning about this. His mother was teaching him how to be human, back in charades and all that. I think it's interesting for him to use human terminology. Like he was saying he was frazzled, he was freaking out. Like he was using those human terms in his dream, almost like his subconscious is pushing him, going, are you seeing what I'm telling you? This is human stuff, human stuff. This is what the part of you that is having that anxiety and that overwhelmed and that panic. This is the human part. And it was him processing all of that. And that just, it's actually really very clever when you think about it like that. And I know there's been some interviews out there with the writers and the directors, and the director is someone who directed the new Fraggle Rock. So like she was the perfect director for this one, but they're saying some of that, how they were thinking about, this is an episode that you should watch more than once, because once you know what's coming, it helps you understand what you were seeing in a different way. And I think there's a lot of Star Trek, again, that is like that. And you get to the end and you went, wait a minute. I mean, all of Discovery season 1, before you knew Lorca was Mirror Lorca. When you go back and rewatch it, they're leaving you crumbs all the time, right? So like, I think this is one of those episodes that it benefits from a rewatch to see how this is all fitting in. And I like that they had a decent size bumper on the puppets. Like there was a good chunk before and a decent chunk after that kind of really showed how what was in there was Spock's journey through this. Lots of journeys this season.
Yeah, and in parts of, because it now makes sense because it was a dream, but I really liked how Pelia called out the fact that they shouldn't be able to hear each other in space.
Yes. Yeah. How are we even hearing each other right now? Because like even if they don't need oxygen, it's still cold.
Yeah.
Well, they probably don't need a temperature either.
But at some point you freeze. Even if like inanimate objects will freeze.
Oh,
yeah. But I mean, they have never worried about sound in space in Star Trek. We gave up worrying about that, 900 plus episodes ago. So that's one we just all take at face value.
That one dates back to 1965.
Exactly. Do you want me to save like some of the big Muppet references and do them all in one chunk at the end, or do you want me to throw them in as we go, or whatever? Okay, because then I want to do the one with Scotty under the torpedo.
That was a reference. Good, because it didn't make sense to me. Because you might see in the notes, why is the torpedo in engineering? It's like that doesn't make sense.
Oh, I don't know why the torpedo was there, but I know what they were going for with that gag.
Oh, but if they had there was a process. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah. So
do tell.
All right.
It made me think of Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
Really? Wow, it scarred me for life as a child. The ending of that is
creepy. That movie as a kid.
I liked everything until they started the steamroller. Everything from the steamroller on.
But there's a scene because Eddie and Roger Rabbit are in handcuffs, and there's a scene where Eddie is trying to cut the handcuffs because he doesn't have the key. And he keeps telling Roger to hold still, and Roger pulls his hand out of the handcuffs. He's like, "Is that better?"
Well, that's like if you guys if you've watched Muppet Christmas Carol, which is a tradition here. Do you remember Rizzo and Gonzo?
Have I watched Muppet Christmas Carol?
Okay, I know you have because we talk about it every year. But so for those of you
I don't watch it every year, but I know it.
There you go. Muppet Christmas Carol. There's a part. Gonzo and Rizzo the Rat are the narrators, and Gonzo's trying to get Rizzo to jump off this top high gate, and he's going to catch him, and it's going to be fine. They have to get over to the house to be able to see what's going on, and he's up there freaking out, and then he jumps down. Gonzo doesn't catch him. He stands up, shakes himself off, glares at him, and then sees he's left his jelly beans on the other side of the gate, and then just ducks under the gate, grabs the jelly beans, and ducks back. And that was what this torpedo was. Like, you could, and then Gonzo looks at him and goes, "You could do that the whole time?" And he's like, "Yeah, I just figured it out," which was exactly what happened with the torpedo.
In Roger Rabbit, it was Eddie says to him, "You could have done that the whole time." He's like, "No, only when it was funny."
Yeah, exactly. So that was a lovely little inside there, and I know other people have thought that one too. They're like, "Oh, I love it." I'm like, "Yeah, lots of people know Muppet Christmas Carol." So there's a couple other ones in here that are
the best adaptation of Christmas Carol.
I completely agree. I think it's wonderful. And again, look at that. Something that is all puppets, except for mostly Michael Caine and a couple other people here and there. But and it works.
Michael Caine and the people who are supposed to be Michael Caine's character's direct relatives. Yes.
Correct. It would have been weird if he had been with somebody or his sister had birthed a puppet.
I don't know. Kermit and Miss Piggy have
frogs and pigs.
Frogs and pigs are the male and female of the same species, so...
Yeah, well, again, there are some things
we don't know. Yeah, okay.
Well, because all of their kids, the male kids are frogs and the girl kids are pigs. In Muppet Christmas
Carol. But
Carol.
We don't know if those children can then reproduce. They might not. They might be like mules,
Okay, but if they were like mules, you'd think they would be like half frog, half pig, and not...
Yes, I'm being ridiculous.
Well, some of these things when you're dealing with puppets are ridiculous, and you just go with it, right? Sometimes you just have to lean into the chaos.
And the best adaptation of A Christmas Carol is Bill Murray's Scrooged. It's right up there with...
I don't like Scrooged, I'm sorry.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm neutral.
I think it might be because I never saw it back in the day. I watched it a couple years ago. And like, I think it had been built up to me as this, like, fantastic movie, and I'm watching, like, this is alright, but it's not great.
I got to tell you, because again, this is my childhood. I saw Scrooged before I saw Muppet Christmas Carol.
Okay.
So
Muppet Christmas Carol was the first movie I saw in the theater.
Oh, that's sweet.
that's cool. That's really cool.
And the only reason I saw it was because Aladdin was sold out.
Well, you got a better deal.
Okay.
I mean, Aladdin's also good, but yes.
Aladdin's also good, but
But-
Muppet Christmas Carol is better.
Not a classic the way Muppet Christmas Carol is, yeah.
It's less racist than Aladdin.
Absolutely. No question there.
And Muppet Treasure Island, also a classic. So
yeah.
for me, I was talking about this with our Patreon producer, Carl. For me, as a child of the 90s, to me, the Muppets are the movies. Like, I never watched The Muppet Show or Fraggle Rock
Muppet
or any
Babies?
of that. Was that?
Muppet Babies, the
Babies?
cartoon?
I saw an episode or two of
Really?
Muppet Babies, but
Wow.
Okay.
that's it. But for me, it was those movies. The Muppets Take Manhattan, Muppet Christmas Carol.
The Great
Muppet
Muppet
Treasure
Caper
Island.
is my favorite. I love that movie. I can say that's probably one of the movies I've seen the most times in my entire life. I can recite the entire thing. It's
But
amazing.
Muppet Treasure Island is another example where it's all Muppets except for
Yep.
Tim Curry.
Well, and Jim.
Well, yes.
I've never seen these. Oh my god.
You
Oh.
have a,
I mean,
a
I've seen-
list.
I have not seen Muppet Treasure Island. I've seen, what was the other one? Muppet Caper. I think
The
I've
Great
seen that
Muppet
one.
Caper. That's the one where Miss
Yeah.
Piggy does the water ballet, like the synchronized swimming,
Oh yeah. I
and the
think I have.
fashion models, and they ride bikes.
No.
That's what people remember.
Again, I swear to God, as soon as I started to like be able to walk and talk, my parents decided I was an adult, just so shorter.
Well, all the old Muppet Show, minus 2 episodes, which that's a long story we don't have time for now, are on Disney Plus now. They are worth going back
Okay.
to. They are just
Yeah.
fun.
And also, all of the Muppet movies are on Disney Plus as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
I rewatched Muppet Treasure Island just last year, I think.
I watch them a lot.
I saw,
Go figure.
and I watched Muppet Christmas Carol every Christmas.
Every year.
And I saw a meme a long time ago now. It was saying that Muppet Christmas Carol works so well because Michael Caine treats the Muppets like fellow humans. And,
Yes, I see that every
and
year.
Muppet Treasure Island works so well because Tim Curry treats the Muppets like fellow Muppets.
Exactly. Exactly.
Love it. Love it.
So speaking of puppets being treated like puppets, once the Orions figure out that they are puppets, which, come on, Uhura. Like,
Oh my God.
It was so funny. They come in, they take over. Like when they're trying to take over the bridge, like it's this was funny. This was pure Muppet mayhem, right? Like this was funny. And like we said, Pelia throwing the shoes was one of the best things ever. But then when they just go slice her in half, and Scotty's like, "It's okay, don't move," and she goes, "I can't move. I'm cut in half. Can't you see that?" Like, I laughed every time I've watched it. My daughters laughed so hard at that. Like, it's just silly and wonderful. But of course, she's a pirate with a sword who would then try to cut Pelia in half. Of course, that's how
a
this
very sharp sword.
It is, because stuffing is hard to get through.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess if you were planning on going onto a Federation starship, you threw it in the quick sword sharpener you happen to have on the way.
Yeah, why
I'm
not?
sure Orions have sword sharpening stations on their ships. Yeah.
There's a dagger in every room, right?
Yeah. This is where I think the Rascals comparison really hits well, because they are like the Ferengi taking over the ship, and it's just like, how is this actually happening? It actually makes more sense here than it did in Rascals, but
I didn't know until I was an adult and was like getting involved in Trek Twitter that there were a lot of people who hate Rascals.
Yeah, I didn't either. I'm like,
Because
it's
when I saw it as a kid, I loved it, and then I continued to love it.
Yeah. Well, and I think I think it was probably those same people who are not wanting Star Trek to be for kids or about kids nowadays were the ones watching it back then who were just like, no, I want my Star Trek to be serious. Okay, that's nice.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, and
Fred
before we
Freiberger
leave,
would have hated Rascals.
yeah, well, he's allowed to have an opinion,
Yeah.
right?
I
He
mean,
just
that's
doesn't
fine.
get to harsh everybody else's opinions about it.
Yeah.
But before we leave this section, and I could not confirm this in time for this recording, but I would put good money on the first time when the Orions fire on the ship and you see the chaos in the hallways and there's Muppets that are not our big main cast running
Yeah, the
around and
generic
going,
ensigns. Yeah.
I do not think they were generic ensigns. I am pretty sure that those were the puppeteers. Like those were Muppets of the puppeteers.
Yeah.
I love
Of
that.
I
course.
could not officially, but knowing what they look like and having seen similar things with those, I believe they have puppets of themselves
That makes sense.
they
Yeah.
can change and alter for different projects. And that is an Easter egg that puppet performers like to put in a lot. So if you go back and look at them,
I like that.
and one of them is running around, and this is my favorite little Easter egg. And when you watch with captions, there's a reason, because one of those who I think are the puppet performers running around says, "Holy Fraggles."
I
And you
saw
see
that.
it in
Yes.
the captions.
I saw that in the captions. I thought it was I thought it was Ortega's though.
It was not,
Or now that
because, but it comes
okay.
up on the captions when
With her.
she's
Okay.
on the screen, but it was said directly before that. Because I cannot tell you how many times I tried freeze framing this yesterday to get that exact moment, and it doesn't pop up till you see her because it's really fast. But yeah, I about died.
That's
That
awesome.
was amazing.
That is
Especially
awesome.
knowing that the director of this episode was so involved in the new Fraggle Rock, which is awesome, by the way. If anyone out there hasn't seen it, it is
Haven't yet. I
again,
like
I haven't seen the old Fraggle Rock.
Okay. You have bites of calming joy whenever you're ready for them. They are wonderful. And the songs are pretty catchy, which is also fun.
Yeah, I still remember the Fraggle Rock theme. Yeah.
And there's a bunch of other songs that are in there too that, like, my girls and I sing the Doozer song all the time. I'm not going to go into it. I don't, but yeah, they're worth it. They're worth it. And so when she yelled when Holy Fraggle was yelled in that, and then I saw it confirmed in the captions, I'm like, that's amazing. Thank you very much for that tiny little bit right there.
That is awesome.
All right, so yeah, the Orions take over the ship. They are trying to get them to turn over control of the ship, and they won't do it. So they space Pike.
Yeah,
they do.
Yep.
And I think
we get the scene.
all right. Yes, we get the scene. And before that though, I like that when they were in the galley, and what's his name? Something. The Ijachi, yeah. That one I'm going to have to learn how to spell because I have a feeling I'm going to refer back to them. Very well done. Very interesting that he's using the, like, gentle psychology on Spock, especially when you're thinking this is his own brain processing this, right? But yet he's knowing Orions are sneaky, and he had just imagined T'Pring telling him Orions are sneaky. Like, it's so many good layers in there. But I loved it when they drag him out there, and then there's Pike, and he obviously wasn't struggling much behind the back of this Orion because he's standing perfectly still, and then here comes Pike. But yeah, and then the scene. I have heard people I love that they put this scene in. I love that, it enhanced all the things I love about this episode. And some people going, no, you shouldn't have done this, especially since we already did this in the Kelvinverse, and you get to rehash and reference yourself once and blah, blah. And I said that about Dream. Let's not have another, it was all a Dream episode. But it was a moment that even my girls went, oh, that's important. Like, he did his hand. I'm like, yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
It was better than they did in the Kelvin.
I agree. But yes, I have seen a lot of people basically saying, oh, they did the thing. It's the thing. We're supposed to love it because it's the thing. And I'm like, yeah, you are. Just cool it. It's fun.
It's no sillier than a bunch of the other ones.
Again,
well, and
the advice that came from the podcast that Jay listens to About Godzilla, you're watching a movie about a giant monster.
Mm-hmm.
Disbelief. Yep.
But I really liked, though, that then that led to him having his hand and waving to everybody after they've had the discussion, like, we are puppets, and Pelia jumping up on the table, and she's so little and her head and her hair is so big, and she's like, hello, I want to tell you something. And then she goes on to explain about being a puppet, and like, it's perfect because who else would have really thought like that? She's the one who's zany enough and out of the box enough, and was just cut in half and realized, we're good. And look, he's not there. And then did you notice that Pike is out there like waving through the window at them? And then Scotty goes and he waves too. And it was so cute.
Did you catch oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I finish and then I'll go.
The pillow that's ripped open to get the stuffing out to fix Pelia. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's adorable. It's 1,000 little things like that we're just kind of smartly added in. And I have heard people here complaining, okay, so they're like, how did they get everybody in? Scotty didn't have his how did they get Pike in? How did they get out of the door to let Pike in? Like, how did they, and I'm like, It doesn't matter. This, again, it was a dream. I get it. But this is where dream logic just, all of a sudden it was there. It was happening, right? Like, you don't have to do every nitty-gritty thing.
Something they could do, though. Spock wasn't there.
Spock wasn't with them. Yeah.
If they could manage to hit the airlock control, if the airlock had a manual control, which it might.
Yep.
Either
I
way,
can see the Orions just throwing them all in Pike's quarters like that. That's not.
Yeah.
I want to know where he got that giant robe. Why did he have that? What was that for?
It's for his cosplay.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know when you're on a starship, you probably have to keep some of that stuff hanging around, right?
Also, you don't know what kind of role play he and Battelle were into.
Maybe
that's fine.
They're LARPers, right?
Yeah, sure. That's where I was going with that.
Yeah, that's what he meant. Yeah.
That's funny. Oh, before we leave Pike's quarters, and interesting things, did you notice that his forest, wall projection thing was fritzing this whole time? Because there was damage to the ship? Like, if you look at it, the forest was fritzing in the background, which I just thought was another cool, silly little detail that they did, which I thought was neat.
I've never... Oh, okay. I've seen that he's got the images back there, and I guess I never read it as a forest. But yeah, that makes sense.
I've always thought it was like a forest with fireflies.
Yeah. Now that I'm looking at it, yeah, it's probably a picture of the outside of his house in Montana.
Yeah, and that does make sense because we also see in the corridors a bunch of the lights are flashing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just it's cool. A nice little detail,
good little touch.
Yeah, and I really liked when he was floating, like the puppet Pike floating out, going, I thought that the darkness of space was the end. This was death. And then he transitions in because, that is, Pike is a speechy guy too, right? And then comes into the plan. And I like that. And I love how they're all willing to step up too. They're like, we'll all do this. And he's like, no, I'm going to save him so he can save us. It was such a Pike quote right there.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
I saw somebody say that they really want to give credit to Anson Mount's voice acting in this episode because he doesn't quite sound like Pike. He sounds like Muppet Pike.
Yes, and if you notice, a couple of them, the longer that they are puppets, the more that they lean into that too. Like Una has it, La'an has it, Chapel has it, Ortegas has it. They get higher and kind of, it sounds different. And I wonder if that's something that people who have, because Anson Mount has a bunch of voice acting experience. So I'm wondering if that is something that happened because he's got that and he knew how to do it a little bit more. I don't know. Either way, yes, he did a great job. He really did a great job with it. And
they did lean into the Muppet voice thing when they were doing the screaming like Miss Piggy while they were attacking. That was perfect. Yeah.
Well, it's 100% perfect. For sure. But back to the giant cloak that he has for whatever reason, right? That is the most classic Muppet moment too. Like if you watch the most recent movie, or not, the beginning of the newest movies, like the one that was just called The Muppets.
Yeah, I did see that one.
Yep. They fool Miss Piggy with Muppet Man at one point in that, which is a great, like, you can go look that up online, and but they do this all the time. And as soon as I saw that happen, I went to myself, oh my God, they're doing Muppet Man. That's amazing. They're like, that's
I love
a
that.
Muppet Easter egg that I think more than deep Muppet fans would get, because that is just such a
Oh, yeah.
classic, silly thing. And I
Oh, yeah.
liked that. I liked that they were doing deep cut stuff for those of us who know it, but also the bigger ones. Like, that's why I think that they did the hand, right, with Pike and Spock,
Yeah.
because they were catching people who aren't the deep nerds with some of the things they would still know. And I really appreciated that. And it was funny because it always works for them. Like, it always works. And it worked again. And I love it.
There is some kid out there who is seeing this for the first time and has never seen Wrath of Khan, and will see Wrath of Khan years from now and be like, oh, that's the thing he did with Puppet Pike.
Uh-huh.
And that just makes me happy.
I know people who saw Into Darkness before they saw Wrath of Khan and had a similar experience.
Yep. That makes me happy too, although in a different way, because it just introduced so many more people to Trek. But
Yeah, I don't think anyone is getting introduced to Star Trek by the Muppet episode of
Probably not.
Kids, maybe, you never know. Might be like, oh, okay, this is the one that we're going to start the kids off on or something. Probably won't be the thing they remember, but
you never know.
I don't know.
And Scotty invents a glove that gives them the the electric field that regular hands have.
He made a more complicated version of the gloves that I bought to use with my phone.
Well, the gloves that you bought to use with your phone wouldn't work if you had Muppet hands, because
that's true. That's true.
By extending your own body's electric field.
Yeah, good point. Okay.
But it also allowed, at one point, for Scotty to try to shut the door and to get electrocuted and do the thing that Beaker always did. Like, Beaker always does
that is both a Muppet reference and a Star Trek reference.
Oh,
because
100%.
Scotty also did that to himself on TOS.
So that was a really nice little moment in there that brought everything together.
Yeah.
So then they come up with the plan, right? And they send to Pring to get captured on purpose, which I thought was fantastic. And her responses in that scene were perfection. When Spock's like, you were coming to rescue me? And she goes, even as I say it, it sounds insane, but yes. Like, yeah, and that scream when she gets set on fire. But you know what? It's interesting because now you're seeing the Orions in his brain transitioning to treating them like puppets, just like they're about to do back to them. So that's another layer of Spock's brain putting these pieces together.
And that's also with, how he's perceiving T'Pring as dealing with all of this stuff, and how if it can break her Vulcan emotional control, then what hope does he have?
Exactly. Though I do, my girls, though, when she goes and she sets the Orion on fire and then he runs around and ends up knocking himself out, they looked at him and they're like, really? That was not good. And my one goes, epic fail, dude. Epic fail.
Stop, drop, and roll. Did they not teach that on Orion?
Take off your jacket, right? But, hey.
And how hard did he hit that pillar with his head? Knock himself out. That was... Yeah.
And was he still on Scotty fire when he hit that?
Yeah,
when he hit the pillar in Final Frontier. Yeah.
Yep. I do hope they put him out though. Like, he might have knocked himself out. Go dump some ice water on him. But again, that's a very slapsticky thing too.
Did. Yeah. Yeah. Remember, the computer puts out fires for itself. Speaking of another absolutely ridiculous and silly episode, Up the Long Ladder. They try to start a fire in the cargo bay, and the computer puts it out.
Yep. Nothing like having chickens and hay in your cargo bay.
Nope. This is less racist.
Yes, that's fine. So
it's a low bar, but...
yes. So I also love the fact that we got a mind meld from burned puppet T'Pring to Spock.
Yes.
That is amazing because we've now had a mind meld with a plant. We've had a mind meld with a puppet. Like I just, and maybe those are both very silly. Yeah. Okay. I don't care. Like mind melds have had many different side effects and possibilities and variations throughout the franchise again as well. So, everybody just take a breath, calm down. And again, it's Spock's brain.
Mm-hmm.
But also, why wouldn't the mind meld work? She's still
she's still organic. They said,
brain.
Yeah.
Remember too that the reason that the mind meld exists at all is because they had originally written in hypnosis, and the censors were afraid that they would be hypnotizing people watching. So they invented a mind meld so that it would not affect the viewers. So yes, if we're going to talk about things being silly, let's remember that.
All right, well, then we're going to get to the silliest part of all, right? Okay, so the bridge takeover, right? So if you have watched The Great Muppet Caper, very short synopsis here. The end of this movie, there are some thieves trying to steal the fabulous baseball diamond from a museum, from the Mallory Gallery, right? And the Muppets have a whole lot of nothing to help them thwart this. And there is a scene very much like this bridge scene at the end of this. This is a classic puppet melee kind of fight, right? There's 17 things going on at once. There's people teaming up to like grab on people's legs and pull them down. There are people biting other people. Pelia growling and biting at Orion was hilarious, right? There's Muppets getting thrown. There's people falling from the ceiling. There's like people tying people up with rolls of paper towels. There is just silly mayhem. And when Spock walks onto the bridge with T'Pring and he just kind of looks around like, oh my God, what is happening? What is happening is the climax of pretty much every big puppet extravaganza out there. You get them all out. Everybody's doing everything. We're using every trick. And at the end of The Great Muppet Caper, the big bad guy is taken down by Miss Piggy crashing through a window on a motorcycle, flying off through the air, tackling them in like the head face area and knocking them to the ground. Exactly like what happened when Spock tossed Pike. Like it's for me, I was just like, this is such an homage to that absolute crazy zany final confrontation that happens in so many puppetry works because you're pulling out all the stops, you're doing everything you got here. And I heard from an interview with the director that it took them between a day and a half and 2 days to just film that scene. That's it.
Really?
Because it was so many. Well, think about the number of people involved and the angles you would have to exactly. So no matter how silly it is, and I loved that Lon is like jumping around and poking in the eyes, and like that is exactly what it was meant to be. And again, if it didn't work for you, fine, that's your reaction. Please appreciate the work and the artistry and the technical merit that went in to doing something like that on a set like that was not designed for that. I mean, that was amazing. It was really, really an amazing scene.
Yes, it was.
And smart. Though we have seen life support go down on ships before, and it doesn't usually happen as fast. But again, this is right, exactly. And I've heard people go, well, if they could have just done that, couldn't they have turned it off from somewhere else, or could they have flooded the bridge with Nurazine gas like they do in a bunch of other? Yeah, maybe.
Yes, they could have.
There's a lot of things that maybe they could have, but again, this was Spock coming to the psychological conclusion that you need to lean into the chaos, that hijinks are the answer this time, that this chaos of puppetdom and humanness. Yes, I love that you wore your hijinks shirt today, that I was thinking about you earlier, because I love that shirt. But this is Spock getting to that point where he's like, this is part of me. I need to just go with it and deal with it and know how to react to this to get things back to some semblance of normal. And I like that.
Yeah. It's beautiful. I mean, there's always that. I always have that moment of like, how bad are the Orions really that they can't deal with this? But that's not the point. I remind myself that's not the point. Right, exactly.
So we talked about the floating a little bit, but I would like to say that one of the reasons I am the most sad that this was a dream is because Mbenga didn't get his little like peaceful floating moment. I loved how he was
Oh,
like
yeah.
kind
He
of
needed, yes.
yes, and he was just like wow, and that
Yeah.
man has been through so much, and he has so much going on to give him that moment of like peace and serenity and like connection with the universe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sad that didn't really happen because he deserves to have had it really happen.
Agreed.
But that whole scene was just wonderful, and how like they're flinging Ortegas and the guy with the hole. Did
Torpedo.
you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
The guy with the
he.
hole. We need to talk about him.
Yes, Thad, you were the one who found that, right? The guy with the
Yeah,
hole.
the actor who plays the guy with the hole was
Who was referred to only as Red Shirt, unfortunately.
yeah.
Hey, he was.
He was
He's a
very
classic.
excited to have this role.
Well, was a Muppet fan and a Trek fan, so like,
Yeah.
I could only imagine if this had been me, I would have been one exploding from not telling people until it came out, and
Yeah,
two,
really.
I'd be hyping it up everywhere, and I would be called up. Hey, every podcast in the world, would you like to talk to me? Because I would like to talk about being a Muppet on Star Trek. So
Yeah.
I would never
Landon
shut up about
Nesbitt
it.
is the actor.
Well, and I think at first I was like, why is this guy just cowering here? What is it? Why is he so? Oh, because we're going to do this to him. Got it. And then I was totally fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you watch the behind the scenes stuff about this, which of course I have because I love puppetry, they created the puppet and then his hole is actually like green screen material.
Oh,
So
that
they
makes
could put
sense.
in
Yeah, that
whatever
makes
they
sense.
needed to put in behind. But it's
Yeah.
so funny to see like the behind the scenes and he's got this big green thing in the middle of his belly. Oh, those are the kind of tricks that TV puppetry can do, which is just neat.
Yeah.
So then Spock tries to reconnect with a puppet to Pring, which is
Mm-hmm.
sweet, but again, like interesting to think this is what he's imagining. And I have
Yeah.
to say, okay, there are a couple times in this episode where they go back to music cues that they have done in other episodes. And if you remember all the way back to the very first episode when they're at the engagement dinner, Spock and T'Pring,
Mm-hmm.
there's a piece of music, and I love Nami Melamund because she names them great things, called Put a T'Pring on It. And it's that swell of like strings when they kiss in the restaurant, and the exact same music cue plays there when they kiss in the room.
Nice.
And then and it's the same one that had played in Charades when they were, no, not Charades, in Spock Amok when they're back together and then
Yeah.
they consummate that this swells and then they lay back, right? So like the continuity there was amazing. There are music cues in this, like when you're thinking about in Hegemony when they're like lighting up the sun and there's that big dramatic dun dun. It's like you will watch when Pike is standing up in the chair and the Orion has the sword
Mm-hmm.
to his
Mm-hmm.
neck. It's the big dramatic music. They scored
There is, yeah.
this as if it was a dramatic episode, which
Mm-hmm.
really played amazingly with how zany it was because the music wasn't treating it like that. Though there
No.
were a couple times that I appreciated the sound effect when a puppet would pop up from somewhere,
Yes.
like when Pike popped up when Spock was sitting there conserving oxygen and being perfectly still. Pike pops up to talk to the Orion captain, and they do the little slide whistle whoop when he pops up, which is a
I
very
didn't even
puppet
catch
thing
that.
too. Yeah,
Okay.
go
I love
back
it.
and listen. They do it a couple times. That one is the easiest to hear, but it's just the production elements behind this made it
Mm-hmm.
even better. And the music, I was just the whole time through, I was like, that, oh, look at that I know. And they had the Amok Time music at one point again when T'Pring
Mm-hmm.
walks out of
Mm-hmm.
the beginning of the turbo lift. Nami is amazing. She is a get for this franchise. She's a get for anybody. And I love her music, and I love that they let her do that in this episode because I think it made it better.
Yeah. I love when he wakes up in sick bay and they're all just standing around him. That's a scene that
Yes.
Well-
this show has done a number of times in a number of different ways, and it's good every time.
I agree. And that's when they first were out of focus, I was like, oh God, is he going to wake up and they're all real again? And they didn't. And I was like, oh, good. I'm glad they
Okay,
didn't do that.
yeah.
And then he woke up again later.
And they were real again, but yeah, it still worked. It was better where
They
it was.
always were real. I was never a
Yeah.
puppet.
That was a great line delivery too. Okay.
Never been
But
a puppet.
here's a question.
Yeah, sorry, I have never been a Muppet.
Spock gets knocked out in the shuttle. He's unconscious. They don't make him stay in sickbay until he wakes up. They put him in his room, and they let his ex-girlfriend/fiance sit and, like, stalk watch him? That doesn't seem like what
And the puppet.
Yeah,
And let people come and go with puppets.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. That probably bumped me more than anything else in this episode, right? Like, because when he woke up in sickbay in the dream, he was like, "How did I get here?" And they're like, "Oh, I put an oxygen mask on you. Then we rolled you onto a dolly." Like, that was funny. But he didn't ask it when he actually woke up, which, yeah, I don't know. But I thought it was a well done scene either way. Don't sit and watch people sleep. It's creepy. So I tell Twilight fans too, like, this is creepy. This is not romantic behavior. This is creepy.
Have you seen? Oh shoot! What's the movie with Rocky and it was just out this summer. Project Hail Mary.
Oh, Project Hail Mary. Yes. Okay, but that's different. That's different because they go into like a coma type sleep.
Right.
Yeah.
And you ask permission. If you need someone to watch over you when you sleep, like after you have surgery or something, and you have to have somebody check on you or whatever, that's fine. But somebody who you did not invite into your room to sit there and watch you sleep for an undetermined amount of time, creepy. Even if it is to bring, creepy.
We can retcon this. We can say he got checked out and was told to go take a nap, and then he said she could hang around. I don't know. Yes, that bothered me too. It always bothers me when somebody has some kind of severe injury and they're just at home or in their quarters or whatever. It's like, what if you slipped into a coma?
Right. You should at least have some sort of monitoring equipment on you. Yeah. Like, there have been times they've gone to sickbay in various series, and they're like, okay, you can go, but only if you wear this monitor or this bracelet or this temporal discriminate or whatever. Like, he should have had something on it. He should have one of those big old things that always stick out the side of your head when you have a head injury in Star Trek, right? With a blinky light that'll fix whatever's going on.
Leave a light over it.
Exactly.
They bring that up. They say the dermal regenerators won't work. Yeah.
My God, man, drilling holes in his head is not the answer. The artery must be repaired.
This is why
another Golden Girls reference. That guy was on Golden Girls, and that was also that's also Colonel Sanders from Spaceballs.
There you go.
Okay.
That doctor. Yeah.
There you go. All right. So, did anybody else think, to wrap up the end of this episode, does anyone else think that little Ricky was going to blink or something at the end?
Yes.
I totally thought he was.
I thought something, or I thought there was going to be like a post-credit scene with him like sitting there.
Yeah.
Yes, just something that, and I'm glad they didn't. I am very glad they didn't, because then that would have they already cut the legs out of part of this story by saying it was a dream, and not in a bad way, but like there was that surprise. I don't want the layer. I don't want the ambiguity. We already did that with the Griffin, something that we're not explaining this season. And that's fine. I get that. I like that. It leaves you with that unsettled feeling like you should. This one should not. This one should just leave you with, oh, that was a fun way to spend an hour.
The second time I watched it, because the first time I was expecting him to like blink or grimace or something. The second time I watched it, I realized they could have ended on a laugh by having him fall off the chair.
Oh, that would have been cute.
Which would have been a completely not, an inanimate thing, not like, just been like, stuffed animals fall off of chairs. And but
that would have been cute. I like that.
Yeah. I hope if we see Scotty's quarters in the future that we see little Ricky around.
You know what? I bet we will, because Star Trek has done that with props like that in rooms all the way back. I mean, every series has some of those. I mean, Trip has that weird breast diving helmet in his quarters in Enterprise all the time. Even when the ship is like all beat up, it's on the floor next to his bed. Like, right? There are anchor points there. I would love little Ricky to be an anchor point, or to like show up somewhere in the background in Spock's quarters for a while, and then just he's the Where's Waldo of Strange New Worlds for the next season and a half. Yeah, he's the elf on the shelf. Exactly. Well, I think we did it. I think we got through the puppets.
We covered almost everything.
We did. As usual, what happens with Abby when you're here, you kind of took over the leading the discussion, which is fine.
Sorry.
I mean, honestly, this is
not as bad
for
thing.
an Abby episode, especially when you figure I'm gonna be cutting at least a third of it.
Yeah,
that is true. That is true. But I like hanging out with you guys. So
Oh,
this
yeah.
is lovely, and I'm so excited.
Mhm.
Oh, are we going to tease our project?
Yeah, in fact,
Yeah.
yes, speaking of hanging out with you, listeners, if you enjoy us hanging out with Abby, you'll be able to hear more of us, because coming this fall, here on BQN, we'll be launching the podcast Prairie Trek, where... we didn't actually mention Little House on the Prairie. I don't
We
think
didn't.
this...
Oh. Okay. Puppets kind of look like the doll, and there was the doll that Laura had that she lost in Little House in the Big Woods, and then they had to repair her. Little Charlotte. Yeah, there we go.
And they were always mending things with whatever string and yarn they happened to have around.
Yes.
It's true. So we talk about Little House on the Prairie a lot for whatever reason whenever Abby's on this show. So with the new Netflix series that came out this year, we thought that perhaps we'll do a Little House on the Prairie show. So
talk about it on purpose.
Look for Prairie Trek coming this fall from BQN.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Anyway, Abby, thank you so much for joining us. Do you have any other work you want to mention? Where can our listeners find you online?
I have a podcast called First Flight. It is an Enterprise rewatch podcast, though we add more and more stuff into it all the time because we are coming towards the end of Enterprise. We're in the last third of season 4 in our reviews, but we like to pop up thoughts on modern Trek. We do an every other month series called Interludes, which talks about musical tracks from Star Trek. We have Trek of the Month, where our former co-host Melanie assigns us 2 episodes of Star Trek, and my co-host Chris and I just pretty much chat about Star Trek and our love of Enterprise, which is often underappreciated in the fandom. So find that on all the places that you find this pod, and find us on all the socials at First Flight Pod. And you can hear me talk about Trek for literally hundreds of hours at this point. So feel free to look there. And if you want to find me personally, I'm usually on Blue Sky. I'm at a few other places. So if you find me on those places, I'll try to find you back. But all of them are Abby M. Sommer. That's Sommer, not like the season.
Who among us hasn't talked for hundreds of hours about Star Trek? I mean, really.
Nope.
Even if I hadn't had a podcast, I could still have said that.
Yeah, before anybody was recording me, I did that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I have notebooks from middle school and high school of notes I was taking, watching episodes, and then calling my friend after. So, I mean, we had hundreds of hours just between us. So
I love it.
Chrissie, where can people find you when you're not sewing your arm back on?
I love it.
If you can do that with one hand, I'm impressed. If you can sew your own arm back on.
That's some Dr. Quinn stuff to talk about another series that's set in the 1800s. Yeah.
I know.
Oh, wow, we had that. We'll just be doing this for, decades at this point.
Yeah. Go right next to your show that the name fell out of my head.
First Flight?
No.
You're talking about License to Spiel.
License to Spiel, yes.
Yeah.
It'll be just like License to Spiel. You go from one tangentially related subject to another. Anyway, right. In addition to here on Infinite Diversity, you can find me on History with the Szilagyi here on the BQN. That's that short history podcast that I swear we are going to be doing more of, that I do with my fellow historian partner, Jason. And I'm also happy to chat about our shows on the BQN Collective on Facebook and in the Discord. And I'm on the various socials as the Goddess Livia, that's TheGoddessLivia, where you can see my opinions about Star Trek history and leftist politics. Thad, where can people find you when you're not...
floating through space with a hole in your belly?
Sure. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Best place to find me is probably on Blue Sky. You can find links to all of my public socials and podcasts on my website, tyrannicus.net. That's TYRANICUS.net. That's also my Blue Sky handle, so that makes it easy.
Don't forget about all of our other great shows here on the BQN. Here's a recording of Amy to tell you all about them.
What's happening on BQN, you ask? We're not just a network. We're a universe of exploration, entertainment, and deep dives into the topics you love. Here's your star map to the sonic adventures awaiting you. Let's chart the Star Trek cosmos with all good things. Embark on a comprehensive journey through the entire Star Trek universe with the insightful crew of Amy, Christos, Kelvin, and Kristen. From classic to current, they cover it all. Galaxy class, engage! Steven and Stefan pilots this Alpha Quadrant mission, meticulously covering all aspects of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Infinite diversity. Stay current with the newest Star Trek frontiers alongside Chrissie and Thad. Union Federation. Whether your allegiance lies with Starfleet or the Planetary Union, Kyle, Kevin, Amy, and Haley offer a unified front, discussing both current Star Trek and the truly Trek at heart, the Orville. Crack open that book with Peter and the Trek Book Club podcast. Delve into a rich tapestry of Star Trek's beta canon. What's the tea, Bev? Christo spills the latest Trek news and fandom insights with an essential LGBTQIA+ perspective, complete with engaging guest interviews. Our visual voyages that you can find on YouTube as well as podcasts are Trek Masters. Think you're a Starfleet Academy graduate? Test your knowledge with Davey and MC's challenging Star Trek quiz show. And the View Screen. Tune in live on Sundays for your dose of a Trek-inspired talk show. Kelvin and Amy host new 8-week seasons each spring and fall. But beyond the final frontier, we have Bargain Bin Gamer. Davey and Mitch, your self-proclaimed gamer guides, lead you to digital treasures, unearthing and reviewing the most affordable video game gems. Cinema Z. Grab your metaphorical popcorn for Mark and Matt's cinematic deep dives, unearthing overlooked films that demand your attention. History with the Szilagys. In order to never repeat it, tune in as Chrissie and Jason deliver bite-sized snippets of historical events from around the globe and transformational journeys. Host Lex Rosa explores what it means to embrace authenticity in the face of societal expectations. You can unlock deeper levels of engagement with our exclusive patron perks. The Hive Mind is where you can join our random script readings, live reaction shows, and roundtable discussions. You can also now watch All Good Things as an extended video edit and get a background look into the creation of a podcast. Also, check out our back catalog of It's Green and Amy's Math Moments. Stay connected to our ever-expanding galaxy of content by following BQN Podcasts on Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube, and Discord. We appreciate you choosing BQN to fill your auditory needs. Thank you for listening. Assimilate the audio.
Thank you very much for tuning into Infinite Diversity. Thank you to Zach Tripp for the wonderful theme music and Mark White for the awesome show art. Please subscribe in your favorite podcast player, and don't forget to rate and review us there as well.
If you'd like to reach out, you can find the network on the socials at BQN Podcasts or our show specifically at IDIC Podcast. You can also talk about any and all of the BQN podcasts in our Facebook group, the BQN Collective, and on our Discord server. When you next hear from us, we'll be talking about the next episode of Strange New Worlds, Off Hour. Until then, peace and long life.
A Shatner Q&A is a thing to behold.
And no two are the same.
No.
Ever.
Last year at STOV, he was telling a story about how his publicist had signed him up to ride a dolphin for something.
That
And
sounds like it wouldn't work well, but okay.
it apparently didn't.
Yeah, I don't get it, but okay.
But no, the photos exist of him doing it. Let me find that. Hold on. I'm sorry, it was Orca.
That makes a little more sense.
A little more sense. They're a little bigger.
I'll just share that with you. It was to bring publicity to Marine World Africa USA. That's a lot of...
Oh, wow.
World
I didn't expect
Africa
it to have
USA
been that long
is a
ago.
lot of descriptive places
Oh,
that are not
okay.
the same.
Wow.
That looks like it might have even been before Voyage Home.
That's a long time ago picture.
Yeah.
That makes me feel a little
1987, so
better.
it's after Voyage Home.
Right after it, okay.
Honestly,
Which I guess makes sense. Yeah.
top marks to his hairpiece staying on, though.
Oh.
Yeah. There's some other people in the public eye who need a good hairpiece like that. I need to rewatch Enterprise. It's been a while.
It's always a good time.
Would you say it's been a long road getting from there to here?
It's been a very long... It was a long road. I drove a long road the day that the finale aired because I was driving home from Wyoming, that's funny. I'm wearing the shirt. I was driving home from after I graduated. I had to have my mom tape the finale for me.
I also taped the finale because I was that was my senior year at high school, and I was working I was working in a grocery store after school,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to set my VCR and tape that.
I taped it too. I had a parent event at school, and it was like my second year teaching, so I was going to all of them, no matter what.
Mm-hmm. No time off for Star Trek.
No, but I appreciate that all of us were dedicated enough that we were still going to watch it.
100%. 100%. Well, the ones right before
Was that the
were
streaming
so good.
era? I mean, come on.
The ones right before it were so good.
Anyway.